you guys are hyped, and let's do it. So we're going to start with the first one with your boy Daiko. Never seen a video. Actually, I lied. I've seen one video from him. So the video I've seen with Daiko Knight was about Pain versus Kakasu, where he literally just talks about why the summoning Pain would be enough to destroy Kakasu, which I actually do agree with. The summoning Pain would slam Kakasu. But anyways, but either way, we're going to go into this video. How strong is Deidara? Could he kill Hashirama? That is the question. Interesting topic. I'm going to check it out. We're going to see what's happening. And then I'll obviously give my thoughts for what I believe currently as of now for his line of skilling, that what I just know. Obviously, if I do my homework, that could change and whatever you name it. My own production videos can definitely easily be different from my reaction videos. Reaction videos is basically just from my current knowledge or memory or with the evidence that I'm currently aware of. You know what I mean? So just putting that out there. And so we're going to check it out and hope you guys enjoy and let's get it. We wasted enough time for the intro.
Yo, have you...
Lightning styles. Deidara uses his explosion style by infusing it on his clay creations, which are created...
Wow, this video is already start. What the fuck?
Deidara is one of the coolest Akatsuki members, a fan of art and a ninja of charismatic personality. Cool. But how strong is he? Deidara is a user of Bakuton, the explosion style, which is a combination of earth and lightning styles. Deidara uses his explosion style by infusing it on his clay creation.
He said earth and lightning. Is that true? Am I capping on that? I thought his is just earth style. Because his earth style was weak to lightning, aka Sasuke. Like, that's his weakness. Like, if you know lightning style, you could basically negate his explosions or fuck him up before they can even explode. Which is a big advantage. Like imagine being able to just shut off a nuclear bomb before it explodes. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So, I'm a little confused in that. Or is it the fact that, it is earth and lightning, but it's still weak to lightning? Which, in my opinion, doesn't really make sense, but I guess it can make sense. So... someone comment down below. Let me know. You know what I mean? I'm not as of now gonna take it so seriously where I have to fucking figure if that's true or not. But I'm just curious if anyone does know. Is it really consist of earth and lightning? I thought it was just earth style.
Which are created in the several mouths he has around his body. His creations are very versatile. They can fly and move independently, pursuing the target at will. They can also stick to the target to make sure they'll explode and hit them very hard. He also has a lot of variety in his explosive arsenal, having creations that can work in many different situations. He's primarily a long-ranged fighter, but he can also cope with melee attacks. Also, he has one extreme advantage a lot of people don't really acknowledge. He can fly. Being able to fly in a world where 98% of people cannot fly, it's just a huge advantage, especially for someone like Deidara, who is a long-range fighter and can just toss long-range attacks on people who are just stuck on the ground. This would be even worse if the enemy doesn't have long-ranged attacks to affect Deidara from afar. They would just be sitting ducks. It is no coincidence that every single major fight Deidara is in is against an opponent that can also fly. Otherwise, he would absolutely bombard anyone who can't, and the fight would just be a stomp. It's also important to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy content like this. Now let's take a look at Deidara's feats. The first big fight he's in is against Gaara, who is a Kage level opponent. Deidara beats Gaara without too much trouble, to be honest. He does it in about 2 chapters in the manga. Now, you may argue Gaara was at a disadvantage because he had to protect the Sand Village while fighting Deidara, but Deidara also had restrictions in that fight. For one, he couldn't kill Gaara, so he had to be careful about which types of explosion he used directly to attack Gaara. Also, Deidara himself admitted he should have brought more clay to the fight, and was essentially rationing his clay supply, which is a big limitation for him that uses clay for every single ninjutsu.
I do agree. The Deidara that did fight Gaara was obviously way severely weakened, and what I mean by weakened, not obviously by fucking stats. What I mean is with his utility belt basically. Imagine Batman just going into a fight or doing his thing with no utility belt, it has no gadgets, resources, nothing, and just now can only rely on his intelligence and martial arts. That is a handicap to a degree. Not fully, but to a degree. That's basically the same concept with Deidara. Like with fucking Sasuke, that motherfucker like did prep time and had all the clay he could possibly have. So if we're talking about the Deidara that fights Sasuke, that is a full power Deidara, at least from what we've seen so far. You know what I mean? And even when he was alive as an Edo, he didn't really demonstrate or show anything. He just immediately got bodied by a mentally amped Sai. So regardless, that's kind of where we're at with the whole Deidara thing. But I definitely do agree. That was a big nerf. If Deidara, was over here pulling the same shit that he did with Sasuke, Gaara most definitely probably would have lost that fight, if I'm being honest with you. Like, Gaara is no joke and he's strong, but like, he's not like insanely strong enough to where like, he can't be beaten. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that guy, if that makes sense. Like, all Deidara did while nerfed, basically, to beat him was just do what Naruto did to Kakazu. Just cause the diversion, dropped a nuclear bomb, basically, on the village, forced Gaara to protect them, and then with that opening, he sneaked some of his little small clays, mind you. C1 clays, not C2 or C3. Okay, it was either C0 or C1. I always forget his clay shit. So, my bad on that. Obviously, if it was a productive video, I would know and I would say it correctly. So, if I'm saying it wrong, whatever. Don't fucking have a titty attack. But anyways, so, like, with just the most basic explosion level, okay, sneaks that shit in, crawls through his sand, whatever, and then basically makes Gaara's jutsu backfire on him. Because how Gaara does, like, that big sandball, like that prison, he always does that, like, you know what I mean? Like, when he wants to protect himself and then he attacks from the outside and shit, which is pretty strong. And if you don't have anything to go through that, then basically you can't beat Gaara and you're fucked. So he sneaks that shit in there, it crawls through, and then it just blows up in his face and did enough AP to literally knock him out, okay, while he used his sand armor to protect him. So his sand armor couldn't even protect him enough to keep him conscious, and he got knocked out. Which is impressive, because when we see, like, Lee doing, like, all his attacks with the gates, you name it, blah, blah, like, he wasn't able to do enough AP to either knock out or kill Gaara. Well, let me take that back. With all the hits he did with the armor on Gaara, basically, those weren't enough, like, to either make him bleed or knock him out. But when he does his final Lotus attack, which is his max amount of power, it's basically what I'm saying, compare guys like normal punches and kicks with the 8th gate, and then compare that to Night Guy, there's a fucking drastic difference, you know what I mean? So when it comes to Lee's Lotus abilities, that would be enough to either knock out Gaara or kill him. So either way, like, with all that in comparison, when we're talking about Deidara, the fact that with his basic level explosions could fuck up Gaara with only his sand armor, like, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty fucking strong, and he beat him. You know what I mean? So, like, Gaara's, like, intelligence, he's not dumb, but, there's a certain intellect gap with the character Gaara, and Deidara was over, and he was able to outsmart and just plan accordingly like that to get the W, so... And if that wasn't able to work, then Deidara would have just had to retreat and just leave. You know what I mean? Because he wouldn't have basically been able to do anything else, because basically what was being emphasized was he didn't have enough clay to do his bigger attacks, or his crazy hacks abilities. Because that would result with a certain amount of clay and chakra. From at least what we get from that whole fight and statements and you name it. So definitely do agree on that. I'm glad he specified and said that, because a lot of people really like to... kind of misconstrued this whole fight. They don't really understand Deidara. They don't understand even Gaara, you name it. And this fight could have easily gone either way. Easily. Like, it doesn't show like a concrete scaling of, Gaara's massively down or whatever. That's not the case. Like, if that plan Deidara didn't work, he would have lost to Gaara. Like, he literally lost an arm. Like, Gaara was like fucking, on the offense and like pressuring him, and then lands a crush on his arm. You know what I mean? So, like, Deidara would have died or had to retreat, you know what I mean, if that fight continued and that plan wasn't successful. So that could have gone either way. And there's many people that try to misconstrue and say, like, Gaara's trash or Deidara's trash, and that's just blatantly not the case. So...
attack. All things considered, the fight was actually pretty fair and Gaara was taken out very easily. We also see that Deidara's flying speed on top of his birds is actually pretty fast, as he was able to constantly dodge Gaara's massive sand attacks. Sure, he did lose an arm in the fight, but that was totally on purpose so that he could get a jump on Gaara. And this is also an important thing to
I forgot about that. Like, I'm dead ass. I was under the impression that he just did that, and Deidara couldn't do anything. He actually let him do that so he could sneak his fucking spiders to like he had it planned all along, bro. You know, so they could travel through the sand and get to his sandball and eventually blow him up when it went at the right moment and wait. So
even though Deidara is loud and flamboyant, he is a pretty tactical fighter. Beating Gaara, a Kage Jinchuriki, easily puts Gaara in mid-Kage level. Also, the C3 bomb he uses to attack the Sand Village has an explosive power comparable, if not higher, than a Bijudama, which is extremely impressive. Deidara is just a beast in terms of raw damage. After that, he has a brief encounter with the Leaf Shinobi. He gets his last arm kamoied away by Kakashi, which is no anti-feat, seeing that Kamui is one of the most broken jutsus in the anime, and is able to fake his death in order to escape. Once again, proving he is pretty intelligent. Not only that, but while
which I'm being real, that's like a lot of people kind of like don't even realize that's a pretty interesting feat. Like, you're talking about Neji being there with the fucking Byakugan, and Kakashi with his Sharingan, and Mingekyo, and they still couldn't realize that he just faked his death. Like, they actually thought he just died. This motherfucker has a crazy-ass explosion substitution style getaway, a jutsu, like, to where you could really, like, those level of characters, you know what I mean? So, like, that's just crazy. Like, to be able to beat that ocular awareness, in my opinion, is a pretty solid fucking escape jutsu feat. That's just me though.
His death with an explosion, he forced Kakashi to use Kamui to counter that same explosion, or Team Kakashi and Team Guy would be in a world of trouble. It's safe to say that by that...
To be fair though, it is possible that Kakashi could have done, like, you know, the 1,000 jutsus that he has, you know, in order to fucking stop it, you know, but maybe he just like obviously didn't have enough like tactical intel, like of how strong it was, so he just, you know, didn't want to take chances, because obviously if he uses a jutsu and it gets overpowered, then they all die. You know what I mean? That's a big risk. So just to be on the safe side, like 100% like, you know, win rate, he resorted to Kamui, because Kamui's just that broken, you know, to hack. So like, if we're being generous to Kakashi, maybe he could have stopped it with something in his disposal, but the fact that he just still resorted to Kamui, you know, kind of gives more of the possibility that maybe he just didn't have anything to combat against that level of an explosion. But then again, you could make arguments that it's possible that he could have done something. Maybe, you know, maybe some crazy water style, or I don't know, or light, I don't fucking know. Something, you know, earth style, whatever. So, but either way, it's interesting, you know, it really is interesting.
Feet alone, Deidara's explosion attacks are very fast and difficult to dodge, forcing Kakashi to use his most powerful jutsu. And Deidara did all that while being extremely fatigued from fighting Gaara, singing Shukaku for 3 days straight, and losing 2 arms. All this with no resting at all.
Nerves.
This speaks volumes about Deidara's durability and chakra reserves. Sure, he doesn't have as much chakra as Akatsuki members like Nagato or Kisame, but he has a respectable stamina and chakra.
I wonder if he's going to go over the statement that Deidara makes when he says Sasori is stronger. Like, what's his thoughts and opinion on that and everything?
Chakra. His next fight is against the Three Tails, and he does it without much difficulty. And sure, Toby probably helped him during that fight, but defeating Bijus is what the Akatsuki members are meant to do, so there's no surprise there. I'm pretty sure Deidara can dish out explosions far more powerful than the Three Tails Bijudama anyway. Then comes his most prominent fight, Deidara versus Sasuke.
Wait,
let me preface this.
This man said Deidara can do an explosion to fucking beat a Biju bomb? I don't know about all that one, Chief. Like the strongest explosion that he had was the one with fucking his suicide, you know what I mean? And he does that shit, and it was fucking like, it was a big ass explosion, but it like, like, it's either like high ball mountain level or low ball almost to mountain level, you know what I mean? But like, if a Bija bomb was like, nah, that's not, I don't know about all that one, that's weird. But like, I get what he's saying though.
by saying that this is one of the best fights in the series. If you haven't watched it or read it in a while, I recommend you to do so one day. When the fight begins, we already see that Deidara may be primarily a long-range fighter, but he can also deal very well with melee attacks. He's fast enough to react and dodge Sasuke's initial sword attack after all. Heavy
really
Sasuke,
impressive.
by the way, was probably the third fastest character we had ever seen in the series by that point, only behind Itachi and Minato, being able to absolutely blitz Team
So
Yamato.
he thinks straight up fucking this Sasuke would just straight up blitz Kakashi and whatnot. I don't know about all that. Like, it's understandable, like, especially if you were to formulate certain arguments and narrative, etc., but I don't know. You know what I mean? Because, like, that Kakashi was able to react and deal with Deidara and all that, blah, blah. And yes, I know he was nerfed and etc., whatever, but we can't quantify, we don't know to what drastic degree. Like, the only point where Deidara is, like, massively nerfed is when he has no arms and he's, you know, exhausted chakra and jutsu, you know? So, but at that current point in time, he still had clay he could use. And, you know what I mean, clearly wasn't, like, exhausted or fatigued enough to where he could just get fucking rocked or whatever. Like, he could still put up a fight and fight. So, and that Kakashi was able to react multiple times to all his attacks, you name it, and protect Naruto at the same fucking time, basically. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, like, if that Sasuke was to charge at Kakashi, I don't think he's getting speed blitz. I think that's really weird. Like, even Sai and Yamato were able to react to the same Sasuke, but Yamato only got fucked up because he did a dumbass counter, and Sasuke roasted him for it. And then Sai actually was able to counter Sasuke effectively. So that's like saying, you know what I mean, Sai just scales over Kakashi and shit and all this other crap, blah, blah, you name it. Like, that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, they could all react. And then Naruto was also very nerfed as well. Like, he literally fought Orochimaru once and went Four Tails mode and then had some handicaps because of it. Then fucking pulls up, fights Orochimaru for a second time, and he's so exhausted to the point where he's like falling over and shit, and then finally gets up to Sasuke, you know? So like, Naruto's nerfed, so like, you know, you have that in consideration as well, but regardless, you know what I mean? Like, it just, like, Sasuke was strong, don't get me wrong, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, to the point where Tsunade is like, oh, he has to be on drugs and shit, or doing maybe some forbidden jutsu or whatever to amplify him, or whatever, I don't know. And they're just only referring to fucking 3-tomo base Sasuke, you know? Not even CM1 or CM2. So, like, trust me, he's strong, but Kakashi, I don't know, he's like just, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, that doesn't, I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. And even Sasori was also at full power, yet he couldn't speed blitz or fucking kill anybody, you know, whatever. So, like, that indication's not there. So I'm going to say this right now, like, if he's going to say the fastest characters, you know what I mean, besides, like, Minato and Itachi, like, I guess, you know what I mean? But, like for instance, like, we have Kusame, who's no joke, and, like, you know, fucking over here fighting, like, someone like Killer Bee, you know what I mean? So I think Kusame would fuck this guy up. I think Kakashi could be able to put up a really good fight with this Sasuke. Even, like, the beginning Kakashi that fights Deidara. Like, now, if it came to who would more likely win, like I said, it's contentious, you know, and it depends whether if it's an in-character or if they're bloodlusted or whatever, but regardless, my money would more likely be on Sasuke. But, like, you know, but then again, like, it's not because he just gets, like, speed blitz and bullied. Like, Akashi would just put up a fight, whatever, blah, blah, but due to just how much Sasuke has at his disposal, all the lightning jutsu, you name it, blah, blah, Kirin, fucking CM1, CM2, I just feel like that would be too much for Kakashi. You know what I mean? I really do. And then, obviously, they both have, you know, Raikiri, too. You know, I'm pretty sure Sasuke has Raikiri. I know in the data books and everything, it says he only has Chidori and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure in Shippuden he does have Raikiri. I don't know. I could be wrong. I have to look back. But regardless, we know Raikiri is stronger than Chidori. So if Sasuke only has Chidori, all right, great. You know, Kakashi has that advantage. But then again, you know, with, you know, if you were chakra control, if you utilize blah, blah, you know, because something is generally weaker, you can make it strong enough to either beat or contest. So that is definitely something that could be probable with Sasuke, even if he only has Chidori. But regardless, whether he has Chidori or Raikiri or not, great, they can do that, whatever, but if Sasuke does CM1 or CM2, what the fuck does Kakashi do? His Raikiri ain't beating that. If he does Kirin, he does Raikiri is not beating that. He would have to Kamui it. And another problem with Kakashi is he had, like, at that current point in time, you know, I'm not going to go into it because I don't want this to be like, oh, fucking, what we were talking about, like, Sasuke and Kakashi, my bad. I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but Bottom line is, what I'm trying to say, I can get what he's saying with speed, but at the same time, it's not correct though. I mean, like it's just not like that's not. A lot of people could be able to react to base Sasuke,
including Yamato himself, an experienced Anbu Jonin. Yamato even said that he couldn't follow Sasuke's moves with his eyes, but
no, he just says he's fast. That's not true. The fuck, Daiko? What you mean, bro? You literally just showed it. He looks over, he's like, oh, he's fast. Like he didn't like. So basically, all we're getting from that is he didn't think he'd be that fast. Like he's like, oh shit, okay. He's probably maybe expecting like a reasonable scaling level like Sai or Naruto, whatever. You know what I mean? But nah, he's like, oh shit, like, he's pretty fucking fast. So, like, I don't know about all that, Chief. And then, like I said, he was able to still react to him multiple times.
Deidara could react and counter Sasuke's speed pretty well. Deidara was able to quickly toss an explosive towards Sasuke when he tried to attack Deidara from behind. That explosion happened at point-blank range from Deidara himself, and he was able to avoid it with sheer speed. Now, I'm not saying...
So, that's actually incorrect. He did get hit by the explosion. Deidara states verbatim, like, a good thing that was a low-level explosion, otherwise that could have done a lot of damage to me, or done enough damage. So, he does state that he got hit by the explosion, but he was just able to tank it to a degree because he was able to move. He was more likely able to move, and then, tank it to a degree. Obviously, the farther you are away from an explosion, the more survival when you name it, etc. Same thing for Sasuke. So
Deidara is faster than heavy Sasuke.
Like he didn't just straight up move so fast where he just doesn't get hit by the explosion. Like that was not the case. So
speed should not be understated. Deidara then uses his massive clay dragon that can spit several charges of powerful explosives, and that combined with the landmines can be absolutely devastating as a combo. Obviously, Toby was the one to implant the mines there, but if Deidara is able to prepare the battlefield before...
I like what he's doing. The fact that he's... That's actually really funny. The fact that he's showing the anime, but obviously pausing and just showing whatever is, happening or whatever. Like, the fact that he's doing that just goes to show that even he was dealing with some copyright bullshit or the nonsense he had to deal with fucking YouTube's, Like, this is literally would be me if I was showing fucking... like, that's hilarious. Like, this would literally be me if I was having to show anime statements or, or feats or whatever. Like, deadass. Like, that's fucking hilarious. I love that.
That could be an extremely useful tactic during a battle. Flying up there and shooting bombs, forcing the target to dodge, to then stab on landmines is just nasty and very hard to counter. Now let's discuss Deidara's scariest ability, C4 Karura. This jutsu is absolutely terrifying. Being able to inject any enemy in a massive range with nano explosives that will disintegrate your body. It's just broken. First, because you can't see the attack coming at all because the explosives are so small, and secondly because it doesn't matter how durable you are, this attack ignores durability. Unless you think characters have durability on their vital organs, veins, and soft tissue, even people like Hashirama would probably have no answer if they...
So that's not true, and that's actually easily solvable. So in the beginning of Naruto, it's stated verbatim that Kakashi says, yeah, alright, great. You can protect yourself, or your body has certain limits to durability, whatever, yada yada. But the reason why the Hyuga clan is so dangerous is because a gentle fist can be able to hurt your internal organs, and there's no way to train your organs. You can't, increase your stats with that or whatever, blah blah. You can only train everything on the outside of your body, etc., etc. So we already know the answer. So yes, if you do breathe in that jutsu, that will be able to kill anybody. It could be, as crazy as that sounds. It would be able to kill Madara, Hashirama, you name it, etc. Now, I'm going to be real with you. The only counter to that jutsu is either Bakugan, Sharingan, Sage Mode, or like if you have like fucking 6-path transformation, or 10-tailed Jinchuriki, shit like that. If you have those, you're good. But if you don't have that, you're dead. Like, there's nothing you can fucking do. You know what I mean? Or if you're hit on and you go Jashin or whatever. But then again, wouldn't hit on just basically get incinerated still? And even though he's immortal, but now he's just dust, so he's dead too. You know what I mean? It'd just be like a tie. But either way, you get what I'm saying. Like, you either need hacks, or you need ocular visual ability, or Sage Mode to be able to sense or either see it visibly, or we would just sense the chakra, whatever you name it, and know it's a threat and go from there. That's really the only way to counter. And we know that because when Naruto's using Sage, when you name it, he's able to like kind of see chakra, sense it, you name it, all that good stuff. Like, so, like, well, I won't say see chakra, but he's able to sense and it shows chakra, you name it. So like if he's sensing or whatever and he feels like a massive amount of chakra is coming towards him, microscopic, whatever explosion, you name it, I'm pretty sure if you're smart enough, you'd be like, yeah, let me back up because something's approaching. I'm not too sure what's going on. Or they'll send a shadow clone to see what happens, or a substitution. They'll realize it gets disintegrated and like, oh shit, I need to back or run away because clearly this is like an invisible, attack or jutsu that I just can't see but I can sense. And I need to back up and see if maybe there's a distance to it or whatever, or see how to counter or whatever and go from there. So that's the only way you can be able to deal with a jutsu. If you don't have any of those means, you're fucked. You're fucked. So it's a very strong jutsu, extremely powerful.
Breathe in the nano explosives. The only alternative is to avoid the attack entirely or be destroyed. And as I said, it's very hard to avoid this attack because you just can't see it coming unless you can see chakra. And of course, there is a way to disarm the explosives by using lightning style as well, which takes me to my next point. Why Deidara actually lost to Sasuke? Simply put, Sasuke was literally the worst opponent on the freaking planet for Deidara to face. Sasuke had a counter to
But then again, like, if Deidara went against fucking Killer Bee, he would have lost. If he went against fucking Kakashi, like, that's obvious. That's also, like, questionable of who would actually win the fight. Now, I'm not saying, like, fucking Kakashi just wins guaranteed no matter fucking what or whatever, and things like that. But what I will say is, if Kakashi does have to fight Deidara in 1v1, let's say like he switches places with Sasuke, whatever, it'd be interesting. I do feel like it can go either way, but I do feel like it strongly favors more with Deidara. Now, if Kakashi already has a Mangekyo out, then I do believe Kakashi can be able to win, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be really interesting, But like there's definitely a lot of characters that if they have lightning style, things like that, they have a very strong chance of winning, obviously. But then again, like I said, there's variables and conditions, and it's interesting. When it comes to the character Deidara, he's a very interesting character. So I'm not going to get into the whole schematics or whatever you name it, but yeah, it's interesting.
Jutsu Deidara had, and the fight was still extremely difficult. Firstly, he could nullify the explosives using lightning style. Now, Sasuke having that was very lucky, but figuring it out was no easy task either. Sasuke had to make this very elaborate plan to find out if lightning style could actually work against the explosives. And not everybody could do that, even people that have lightning style. This plan only worked because Sasuke has the Sharingan and can see through chakra, which is also another very important factor as to why Sasuke won the fight. If he couldn't see chakra, he wouldn't be able to see the landmines or the nano explosives, which would just kill him. Sasuke's genjutsu also helps.
Now, one thing I'm going to say though, to be fair, Deidara does do a prep feat similar to what Konan does against Obito, and that he was only able to even have mines to begin with because of Toby, because he can go underground phase and set up the mines, you name it. So, like, basically what your line of scaling would be how powerful Deidara is if he has Obito next to him. You know what I mean? So, I'm just being real. I'm calling it as it is. So, like, because that was one of the reasons why he was even able to pressure Sasuke so hard, was because of the landmines. Like, he's literally throwing attacks at him, while Sasuke has to be careful with the landmines and shit, you name it. So, like, when it comes to all that and everything, that obviously is a big, big fucking deal. So, like, if he's fighting whoever else or whatever, and he doesn't have Toby to do the landmines for him, he's not going to be able to initiate the landmine strategy and utilize, like, that crazy-ass broken pressure. So I'm just putting that out there right the fuck now. So, like, if you're just going to strictly scale Deidara, great, that's fine. Yeah, we know he can do landmines, but he can't set up landmines if he's in a fight against someone. You know what I mean? That's not happening. So landmines is out of the equation. So I'm just putting that out there right now. I don't care about all the landmines or whatever, blah, blah. And that is important, because if you go back to the fight, I would have to go back to make sure and analyze. But if you go back to that fight, I believe the reason why he was able to even land successful hits on Sasuke was because of the landmines. You know what I mean? And the pressure that he was doing because of it. If it was just Sasuke having to deal with whatever he's throwing at him, like the missiles and bombs, whatever, blah, blah, he would have just been dodging it and dealt with it easily. Used jutsu, his speed or whatever, and which is also shown in the anime and manga of him dodging all that. And he only really starts to slip up once he has to deal with the landmines as well at the same time. Even Deidara says, oh, you're kind of fucked because the landmines, blah, blah, like there's nothing you can do now, you know? So I'm just putting that out there. You know, that was a big fucking combo attack. You know what I mean? That wasn't just Deidara. And you would have to argue and prove that Deidara has enough speed, especially when he's fighting against someone that's either on equal ground or someone that could potentially be stronger. Okay, like they're not gonna let him just plant fucking bombs. That's stupid, you know? So
now, I am positive that Deidara's eye, which he trained to counter ocular genjutsu, would work properly against anyone except for Sasuke and Itachi. Unfortunately, their talent was too much for Deidara to compensate through.
I do think Kakashi could pull it off too, though. I'm being real. I do believe he could do it. He does have Obito's eye, so I don't think it's just Sasuke, Itachi, or Obito. It's really weird. I do think Kakashi could do it, but obviously it'd be the same result, just take some time, you know.
Sheer training, but still, this is another thing that counts for Deidara's overall strength. He has a decent proficiency at countering genjutsu, something many powerful ninjas lack. And then, of course, we have Deidara's grand finale, C0, his ultimate masterpiece.
Okay, so that's C0.
Sure, he has to die to perform that attack, but that was the most powerful jutsu in terms of raw kinetic power in the entire series, up until Madara tossed 2 meteors on the Shinobi Alliance, and maybe Deidara's was even stronger than that anyway. That explosion was comparable to a 10-tailed Vijudama blast. It's far more powerful than Pain's catastrophic
Wait a fucking minute. Oh, I'm hearing some crazy shit. Holy fuck.
In terms of raw.
Hang on.
Finale. C0, his ultimate masterpiece. Sure, he has to die to perform that. Many powerful ninjas lack. And then, of course.
Okay, so that's the explosion there, right? Not too bad. It's impressive, but that's the explosion. You see the city there, whatever. You see the city there. Okay. Cool. Great.
We have Deidara's grand finale, C0, his ultimate masterpiece. Sure, he has to die to perform that attack, but that was the most powerful jutsu in terms of raw kinetic power in the entire series, up until Madara tossed 2 meteors on the Shinobi Alliance, and maybe Deidara's was even stronger than that anyway. That explosion was comparable to a 10-tailed Vijudama.
Oh, hell no. Like, if he's talking about, like, visual representation, you know what I mean? Like I guess, like, how tall or whatever, I guess, sure. But we all know damn well it is not as powerful as a fucking 10-tails fucking Biju Bomb. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's some bullshit. Like, literally, like, the explosion hits the snake Manda, and the snake was still alive. Like, it literally tanked it. It died, but it didn't get, like, ripped to pieces or all that other bullshit, whatever, blah, blah. So, like, its attack potency can't even fucking, like, incinerate a snake summoning, you know, whatever, blah, blah. So, like, you know, obviously if someone has enough durability that could be able to scale to the summoning, like the frog or or the snake or whatever, then they'll be perfectly fine. As crazy as that sounds, they would tank it, or they would die. You know what I mean? A lot of Naruto kids would either die by this attack or could be able to potentially tank the attack. I'm just putting that out there right now. But either way, like, fucking, I'm just being real. Like, yeah, it was tall and big, but like to say it's the same thing as like the that's crazy. I don't know about all that. Like, if he's gonna say look wise, sure, but power wise, hell no.
Vijudama blast. It's far more powerful than Pain's catastrophic.
That's also not true. What the fuck are we on right now? Fucking Pain Shinra Tensei was able to one shot and break all the bones of every fucking frog summoning, while the snake was able to fucking get hit by an explosion and then still be alive, talk shit to Sasuke, and then die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just being real. It's like, you could say, like, and mind you, that's a basic Shinra Tensei. This is like a max full fucking power Shinra Tensei. Okay? So, like, Shinra Tensei would definitely scale over. Shinra Tensei also consists of all 5 chakra natures. Okay, and then it's embedded with chakra. Okay, like that's a blatant bullshit right there. There's no way you're gonna say that Deidara's explosion outscales fucking Pain's, especially chaotic Shinra Tensei. Like I would understand basic to say that they're equal or maybe or highball and scale over, whatever, sure. But chaotic? You're fucking tripping. Holy shit. Hell no.
Shinra Tensei, and any Bijudama that isn't from the Ten Tails. Sasuke is only able to escape because he...
Okay, so apparently, Deidara has an attack potency, you name it, explosion-wise, better than all tail beasts, including Nine Tails, okay? And also equal to 10 Tails. What the fuck are we on right now, bro? If you go to the Hashirama and fucking Madara fight, bro, and see a full power Nine Tails Biju Bomb, that shit is massive and so fucking strong. You could feel shockwaves from like miles and miles and miles and miles away, bro. Okay? And same thing with the other Biju Bombs, and especially with the 10 Tails. Okay? While Deidara does his explosion, yeah, it's tall and it's a little bit wide, but the aftershock and like the power of it, you name it, doesn't even affect anybody. They're all in the city and they're perfectly fine. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, that shit is not more powerful than all the tail beasts and then equal to the 10 tails. That is 100,000,000% cap. That is like, I'm sorry, I'm just saying it as it is. That is some rat ass fucking scaling right there. Hell no. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, basically where I'm getting at, there's plenty of narrative evidence to say otherwise, to contradict that line of scaling. Okay, with the data books, Kishimoto shows you name it, blah, blah, like, it's very crystal clear that the tail beast would be over that explosion. That's just fucking crazy. Like, if we're talking about their Biju bombs, like, come on, bro. That's just insane. I mean, like, come on. That's just, I ain't letting that go.
As the exact counter against the explosion, he can summon Manda, put him under Genjutsu, and then use reverse summoning to run away, but otherwise he would be dead. And that Sasuke is easily mid to high Kage level, and when the fight ended, even with him having every single counter to Deidara, he was extremely fatigued. This fight puts Deidara...
Also, to remember, Sasuke could not kill Deidara. He had to hold back and obtain intel and investigate, so while Sasuke is holding back, Deidara is actually going for the kill. Just putting that out there. Deidara is bloodlusted and wanted to kill him because of how much he hates, the Uchiha, Itachi, and for Sasuke killing Orochimaru, who he and Sasori were very obsessed of and wanted to kill. So Deidara is bloodlusted while Sasuke is having to hold back. I'm also putting that out there as well. So the fact that Sasuke could still be able to basically make him rage quit and survive while holding back, you best believe he's going to be fatigued and exhausted because he's literally holding back and restraining himself from killing Deidara. You know what I mean? Sasuke had a huge handicap, and he still pulled a W. So I'm just putting that out there. Like, we're not just going to sit here and be like, oh, like, Deidara just is on equal scale. Like, if Sasuke was able to kill, Deidara would have been dead. Like, literally, if you guys think I'm bullshitting or capping on that, he literally eventually creates an opening while holding back, remind you. Yes, he's moving at full speed. All because you're holding back doesn't mean you're not moving. Yes, so he's still moving at full speed. But what I'm saying is when he eventually landed an attack on Deidara, he didn't even hit his heart. Like, he literally states verbatim, well, I avoided your vital, blah, blah, you name it. And then had other opportunities to kill, whatever, but he didn't. You know what I mean? So, like, Sasuke, if he was also bloodlusted, okay, imagine him going CM2 and then sprinting at Deidara. Deidara would have been dead. He barely dodged a base Sasuke charge with fucking 3-tome Sharingan. You really think he's dodging, like, fucking CM1 or CM2 a dash at full speed? No. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying this right now, like, Sasuke would definitely be able to kill this man if he was serious and bloodlusted. Like, if it was the same one that fought against Itachi, come on, bro, what are we doing? What are we fucking doing? You know what I mean? So, I'm just going to put that out there right now, but, whatever.
Easily on that same mid to high Kage level, especially with his two most powerful jutsus, C4 and C0, especially C0. And C4, it's just mind-boggling how powerful this jutsu is, and how many characters in the series would just be Thanos snapped out of existence if Deidara threw that against them. If you can't see chakra and don't have lightning style, you're dead. And it's not a lot of people that have access to those two things simultaneously. Also, even if you have those two things, figuring out lightning counters the explosions is not a guarantee. When Deidara comes back in the war arc, he keeps up with Inoki, the strongest Kage at that point, and had some brief altercations with some other ninjas of the Alliance. However, for whatever reason, Kabuto didn't supply him with a lot of clay. Seriously, Kabuto misused Deidara really badly in the war arc. He could have just thrown Deidara in the middle of an entire division and make him use either C4 or C0 continuously, saying that the Edo Tensei bodies regenerate, he wouldn't have to worry about getting caught on his own explosions. Then you just have to use a couple of strong Edo Tensei to guard Deidara's body while he's prepping those two powerful jutsus, and it's GG. You obliterate the entire Ninja Alliance in a couple of hours. But instead, he sends Deidara to fight the Advanced Squad. He literally puts an undead, regenerating Deidara into a situation where he'll only be able to affect about 10 people with his explosions instead of 10,000, but I digress. Kabuto's lack of tactical sense doesn't take away from Deidara's strength. All in all, I think Deidara can put up a good fight against practically anyone in the series. His jutsu arsenal is vast.
Anyone? You gotta elaborate or specify on that, bro. That's cap 100%. Nah, hell no. Like there's a good amount of characters he could be able to put up a good fight against and either still win or lose or whatever. But there is many characters that would fucking slam this guy. Like, what do you mean? Like what? Okay.
And extremely potent. I would easily put him in mid to high Kage level and rank him within the upper half of the Akatsuki in terms of strength. Subscribe for more content like this and ring the notification bell.
Okay. So he never really addressed whether if he would be able to kill Hashirama or beat him in a fight. So that was clearly a clickbait title. Because I thought we were going to kind of get some scaling with Deidara and then being discussed if he could kill Hashirama. I'm telling you right now, if Hashirama went to fight Deidara, he would immediately stomp him and it'd just be over. Now, if Deidara could use his hacks ability to where he does the microscopic explosions or whatever, if Hashirama is not, in Sage mode and he's just in base, which could be very possible. Like, let's say for some reason Hashirama is holding back so much to where, like, he doesn't want to kill him, or he's not even knocking him out, whatever. Let's say he holds back that much to a degree, okay, and he's not in Sage mode. It is possible that Deidara's explosions could kill Hashirama and basically catch him off guard, and he's dead. But then again, like Hashirama, we're talking about Hashirama here, who's had eons of experience, considered the god of Shinobi, you name it, just releasing his chakra aura. He was fucking, like, the guy is insanely powerful. So, like, I'm pretty sure it makes sense for him to, have substitution or use shadow clones, available at all times, whatever, to make sure, and he would not underestimate his opponent, so if he's able to figure out that, there's something I can't see and it's killing me or whatever, I need to use Sage mode so I can at least sense it and then get away from it, okay, and then he could be able to survive. So it's not a guaranteed GG, but if Deidara does land it, he's dead, definitely. As crazy as that sounds, he would be dead. So, it's just that broken. Like, you can't train the inside of your body, unfortunately. Now, if, like, Hashirama was able to get fucking hit by a goddamn, even by Deidara's, like, final explosion or whatever, you name it, I do believe he would have enough durability to tank that as well. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about fucking Hashirama out of all characters, and we're seeing other characters fucking, tanking all kinds of other crazy jutsus and attacks with their body alone. And the only possible theory was they're clearly applying chakra to their body to increase their durability, to amplify their body to, fiction feats, basically, which is shown all the time, And obviously, if they're not applying chakra to their body, then they can get hurt by anything, just like us, like normal humans, which is why Minato can get fucking stabbed by a goddamn wood piece, like a splinter, which is why any other Naruto character can get cut by Kunababa, you name it, So, if he does apply chakra, why not? I do believe you'll be able to tank that because it's basically its best AP feat showing was to be able to kill Manda, but not instantaneously rip it apart or even disintegrate, just to basically do enough blunt force trauma to be able to just to kill it, and it took like a couple minutes to kill it, So definitely could see Hashirama being able to tank it if he does even got hit by that, but everything else would not be able to do anything to Hashirama. And like I said, Hashirama versus Deidara is just like that's a stupid fucking. That's not even a debate. It's not even debatable. It's just stupid. In my opinion, it would be like if Hashirama is bloodlusted, no diff. If he is holding back, then it'd be a low diff because since he's holding back, he's just having to counter whatever he's fucking throwing in reason with it, you know. So either way, that's basically it. But it was a good scaling video for Deidara. Like it wasn't bad, but there was just certain moments where he was like either just ratting it out or fucking highballing Deidara to the T. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with highball arguments or you know. And stuff like that, like it's whatever, I can tolerate it. But like there are certain things he was saying that out of nowhere, where because there's a level, you know what I mean. You got low ball, mid ball, high ball, and then just ratting. Ratting is like above the high ball, you know what I mean. So, and there were certain moments where I felt like he was fucking dead ass ratting. Like there's no way, you know what I mean. So, but it was a good video. It was a really good video. I'm gonna be honest with it. I would like the video, but because of the little bit of some ratting scaling that was in there and, you know, whatnot, and there was a lot of good scaling and reasonable and made sense. I'm at a 50-50 with it, so I'm not going to dislike and not going to like either. Just going to keep it neutral, you know what I mean? I have no hate towards him or whatever, blah, blah, but that's just what I'm going to do from here. You know what I mean? Like I said, if I'm going to like your video, it needs to be good, you know what I mean? And at least to me. So, whether that's how you know if it either passed the reaction test or not. So, but we'll leave it there. Keep it neutral. Good. If you guys don't know who he is, I'll make sure to put his YouTube in the description down below as well. So make sure to check him out. You can watch all kinds of content that he does. He does all kinds of art stuff, you name it. So definitely check him out. Give him all the support and love. It helps. It goes a long way. And as always, make sure to leave a like. Comment your thoughts down below of how strong you think Deidara is. Who do you think he can beat? Who do you think he eventually loses to? You name it. I'm curious. I mean, there's nothing wrong with giving your opinions or your line of scaling or reasoning, whatever you name it. So let me know. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe for more content. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.